However, within minutes of the trip, I knew I was in deep trouble. This was clearly not the motorcycle club for me. When I was a kid, I loved doing 3 things in my spare time: reading books, playing my Game Boy Color, and lastly, I loved riding my green-wheeled Razor scooter around the block that was known as Wild Fox Way. There was some sort of freedom in using your one foot to push, while your other foot supporting your body just kind of glided forward on its own. And I came to really enjoy the rhythm of the cracks as the wheels went over them, that ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And I would just do that for what seemed like hours in my neighborhood. And then when I was about 8 years old, my dad gave my brother and I a brand new Yamaha PW80 that we affectionately called Pee-wee after some time. We had some property at this time, and Dad would start us off on that bike. And later, 5 years later, he gave us each matching bright yellow Suzuki DRZ 125s. And while these bikes were loads of fun, doing jumps, and just around the block and stuff, around the property, around the forest, they were actually also very functional as we used them to get to the bus stop each morning, which was about a mile away from our house. So in 2019, after about a 10-year hiatus from working and being on bikes, I was ready to get back on the Iron Horse. I had done a lot during those 10 years. I got married, I got my degree, I got my master's degree, I got my dream job. Now I wasn't so destitute too for some funds, and so the time was come and it was time to get a bike. So in May of 2020, I bought my first street legal motorcycle. It was a Triumph Bonneville T100 Black. It was and still the best and most beautiful machine I had ever seen. A really fun summer came and went, and in those summer months, I put on more miles on that bike in 3 months than the previous owner had put on in 7 years. I will never forget the first time I took it down the road, going about 45 miles an hour, faster than you'd ever have at that point with an MSF course. And you just feel like you're going on hyperspeed, let alone before you get to, highway speeds. And that ground is just whizzing behind you, beneath you. And compared to a dirt bike, which has got a lot of floppy plastic, you just feel like you're on a tank, and it's just awesome. And that summer came, and I did amazing trips around Central Texas. Went to some caves, did hill country. I did some trips to Louisiana, to the bayou. But the reality was, after a summer of quarantining and the pandemic and everything that went along with 2020, I was ready to share my experience with others of a similar mind. I will always uphold solo trips. And if you've never traveled or done anything by yourself, I highly encourage you to do that. So I looked at clubs and joined the nearest one. It was at the college town closest to me. And I got in contact with the club president, who was a young engineering student who had a bright, brand new red Honda Africa Twin. And he informed me that fall they were going to go on the club fall trip to the Texas Twisted Sisters. This is Texas Route 335, 336, and 337. And I was super excited. This is probably the #1 rated motorcycle trip or route in all of Texas. I was just elated. So on an early dewy morning in October, I bundled up my super stinky high school gym bag because I didn't have any money for gear, with my crusty bungees that I wrapped around the back, and I left to go meet with the club. However, within minutes of the trip, I knew I was in deep trouble. As we rode into these deep Texas routes, trying to get to the Twisted Sisters, to Lakey, there's this competing value of, I want to ride with others and have that shared experience. And that competes with, I want to ride my own ride, right? But not riding your own ride and letting the want to be with a group is a dangerous mindset to be in. And I knew that I was uncomfortable. And I looked down at my tack and I was doing 90 miles per hour. Something at my skill level and at my experience I knew was beyond my personal boundaries. So I slowed down to what I knew I was okay with and said, took a reality check and said, I'm gonna ride this ride by myself, and that's what I did. I settled down to 65 miles an hour, but I was in the middle of the group, and pretty soon, that same Honda Africa Twin just screams past me, just whizzing by. 5 hours later, I get to the lodge. They'd already arrived well before then. And I meet up with the club president, and I'm like, dude, how fast were you going there? And he kind of like nonchalantly shrugs his head. He's like, I don't know, probably like 120, 130.
Holy moly!
This was clearly not the motorcycle club for me. I had a great time that weekend on the roller coaster-like hills of the Twisted Sisters. We shared meals, we shared laughter, but two things were abundantly clear. My journey was not a group ride. More importantly, I needed a new club. Today, at the end of this experience, maybe you need a new club too.
I love you too. Yeah. Hi.
What's up, what's up?
How's it going?
What do you think?
This is a pretty cool place.
Thank you.
So.
Man, I like it. I
You
like
must
it.
be Al.
You're Jarrett?
Yes.
Gordon.
Nice to meet you, Gordon.
Alrighty, man. Yeah, okay.
Those are fast.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
We need to make it 3.
Well, you can look at it and see if you want to drive through the creek or if you want to go back
Around.
through the road.
Sure.
There's two ways.
Are you Jennifer?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You
Are
too.
you out riding the sisters?
What's that?
Or are you out riding the sisters?
No, I'm going up to Bernie with the Triumph Club of San Antonio tomorrow. So
Oh, okay.
Bernie up to Lano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
like it.
Fredericksburg, that kind of stuff. Perfect.
Right in here. There's
Okay.
actually a little burn ring
Yeah.
up there behind that tree.
Perfect. This is great. So I'll just pick a spot back here.
Yeah, you can just pull right in there and set up camp.
Awesome.
The
Cool.
deer are gonna come through here, but
Yeah.
they won't bother you.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Had a pretty good night's sleep that night. Now it's time to actually meet the club. And I don't know about you, but I'm a pretty high-level functioning introvert, and meeting people randomly that you just drove 5 hours to go meet is pretty scary and intimidating, especially with motorcyclists. I'm especially intimidated because I don't know what they're gonna be like. I don't know what their riding style is. I don't know what their preferences are. I don't know how they're gonna act, if they're gonna be, you know, sexist or rude or sailor mouth. But, you know, this is me trying to be vulnerable, trying to reach out, and but ultimately, I had a fantastic weekend. I had so much fun meeting a lot of people, meeting like-minded motorcyclists, you know, distinguished riders, so to speak. And I just so enjoyed hanging out with these guys, getting to know them. Huge shout out to the Triumph Riders of San Antonio, Trosa, for sponsoring me, for getting me out there, for a new dude from the other side of Texas, hang out with them. I just want to reach out to them, and I put them out here. I couldn't film everyone. Here were some of the guys on the trip. So there you have it. If you don't feel comfortable around your current motorcycle club and they don't have a like mind with you, it's time to break up with them. Ride safe, everyone, and we'll see you next time.